Good evening, Mayor and Council. The city, with your collective vision, is embarking on a fiber to the home project as a...
Excuse me, guys. We're back in session. Go ahead.
Is embarking on a fiber to the home project as a significant part of the cable department's work program next fiscal year. As you're aware, more than 18 years ago, the council, of which some of you were a part of, supported a fiber replacement project of much of the cable infrastructure to create a backbone for our system. Fiber was taken to each neighborhood, to the San Bruno Park School District schools, and many city-owned buildings. For those many years, this infrastructure has carried data and allowed for the integration of other services on the network. The only city in the peninsula to have such a network at that time, and even probably today. The cable system was the first one in the Bay Area to go all digital and use that infrastructure that was already in place to carry it. With the support of the cable subcommittee over the years, council approved fiber extensions to the Bay Hill Business Park and other areas to support businesses with dedicated fiber. We have customers such as Walmart and Google and Provident Funding and over 20 other companies, with 3 more added in the last 2 weeks and 1 more coming this week, coming aboard on Friday this week. And competitive pricing and word of mouth is really drawing the new users in. Today, once again, with the cable subcommittee's direction, the council's full support, this fiber to the home project is being embarked on at the Shelter Creek complex, with other areas under consideration as well. The cable replacement with fiber is a step to prepare for the future needs of the system and to serve residents. A robust in-house marketing campaign is planned for this effort. A marketing person will be brought on to create literature to send to all households, participate in weekend and evening events at the complex, serve as the liaison to the Shelter Creek management, which are very excited, by the way, to coordinate their participation and promote introductory offers for our new subscribers. If the project continues to other areas as hoped and funding is identified to pay for future deployments, the department would recommend a system-wide marketing campaign along with rebranding the cable system and department. The department is confident that the project will garner the 20% new subscriber base as the established benchmark for the success of this project. Already there's been a 5% uptick in subscriptions. It's about 40 new signups since, as a result of the Shelter Creek's board anticipated interest back in January. This project will not only increase revenues and the overall value of the cable system, it will also serve the future telecommunication needs of the San Bruno residents. And while this is a significant project for us this next year, we will continue to serve all our customers with the products and services that we currently have today at the same time. This will be, though, a major work effort for the department next fiscal year. With that, I can take questions.
Any questions for Steve?
I wrote marketing, and you explained that you're going to do a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Isn't there something that we could be doing now?
You know,
I mean, are we just anticipating that once we get this Shelter Creek done, that we're going to go into a mode where we're going to have to figure out how we're going to fund the next project? How do we let the customers know to stick with us? It's coming, but in the meantime, we do have all these other great services.
it's a difficult bridge to cross because we can't promise that we're going to do this yet. I mean, unless you tell us to go ahead and do it, I mean, we don't have the funds for it. So we don't want to. We're hoping to make this a test project and make it a successful test project and get the revenues it takes to pay for it before we, really roll out a robust program and a new name and San Bruno Cable TV is nice, but it needs to be revamped, and we appreciate that.
I guess that's what I'm getting at. Except we've never put any money into marketing, really.
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to really consider something.
I've had direction from the city manager to look at what marketing would cost to do something of that effort, and we have some money this year, next year in the budget to address that. Part of the issue is, we're a very small system, so radio and TV marketing, which everybody wants to do, it doesn't really work for us. We've done, as the mayor suggested a few years ago, a robust effort in mailing out mailers on a monthly basis, and it was not a very successful campaign because people were getting bombarded with weekly mailings of as you probably do at home as well. So really, in our system, what we really want to focus on now is social media. We've talked about this the last time. We really need to be involved in the social media because there's a lot of talk about cable out there on Nextdoor and other places, and we really need to push it that way. Word of mouth at Shelter Creek, without a lot of marketing from us at the moment, is really, there's a big buzz over there about what's coming. You know, they are excited about it. So we know that we still need to do an effort to reach everybody there, but we do feel that it's going to be a, you know.
You got a message board too.
Yeah.
You got an electronic message board, you got an ugly building now, but you could put stuff on it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, maybe we ought to.
The message board
Yeah.
it would be, once we, the problem is, what do I say? We got fiber optics coming to one area, you know, and then everybody else would knock on my door going, hey. No, I appreciate it. I mean, that's the dilemma we're in. You know, we need to promote it really robustly at the complex, and once we decide we can roll it out further, then absolutely, we need to have a robust marketing campaign. But for the first few complexes that we're considering to replace the cable there, we really can, you know, it's a very dense, area, and we can really focus on that.
So just on the marketing issue, the department has operated with the interim director position for some time. As you know, Steve is filling a dual role with the business manager. And those resources have been in the budget and have been used for marketing efforts at the direction and the interest of the cable subcommittee over the last several years, have been used for targeted residential door-to-door marketing, as the director indicated, not entirely as successful as we had hoped, but also with some part-time resource that actually was quite successful in bringing in new business customers. This marketing effort is strategically a little bit different and likely a little bit more expensive, and that is to really reposition this as a cutting-edge, future-oriented, broadband, high-tech company, that the current logo, frankly, and branding, and even the name of the
We've
company
been talking about that for a couple
are
years
a little
now.
bit stodgy and a little bit out of date. So that's with the deployment of fiber to the home, we look forward to also transitioning our marketing effort and really looking at rebranding and upping the image of San Bruno Cable, not to lose its well-loved, long-standing community presence, but to punch it up a bit.
I guess what I would like to know is if we make that decision and we find funding in some way and how long would the customer wait before they had fiber to their home?
I'll let Al answer that question because he's been the top.
I mean, are we talking less than a year project? Are we talking 2-year project?
Well, to cover
Get closer, Al, so we can get it on.
To cover the whole city, you're probably looking at a good 2 to 3 years to do it the right way. I mean, you could bring a lot of contractors in and build probably the whole system in 1 year, but it'd be a real nightmare.
If you can find the contract.
Yeah, if you can find contractors. But I feel that within 3 years, I believe, once we start after Shelter Creek, if the board if that's your wish, I think within a good 3 years, we can have just about the whole city wired.
So what is the subcommittee, did I miss something? When do you anticipate doing this new marketing plan?
So-
Is it gonna be something, you have a powwow after the launch of Shelter Creek?
No, it'll be this particular marketing for Shelter Creek will be during the project, so within a month, we'll be out there doing.
That's easy, yeah. I think that's easy, that's right.
And then if the council says, look, we're gonna roll this out, we found the funding, we're gonna roll this out to these other 2 complexes that we've been considering, because it is, again, dense, less expensive to do. At that point, a decision has to be made, first, do we do it? Are we gonna roll it out everywhere? And then we need to if we are, then, yeah, we can start advertising that we're gonna be the lightning, speed, whatever it is, out to the rest of the community.
You'll be able to use Shelter Creek as your market.
We'll use Shelter Creek, and then we'll use, these other complexes too, that we can feed upon that, and then we go out, and that would take then a large marketing effort, as you say.
I think I don't think it's aggressive enough. I think we could do more. I'm just saying that, I don't know what it is, but I
Yeah.
just think that, cable needs, new life now, and not just at Shelter Creek. And we've got a very competitive product. We talked about when we decided to raise the rates. Why can't we change the marketing? Why can't we uptick the marketing right now, just to say, come talk, look at us now.
Yeah, I think part of what we're gonna be doing at Shelter Creek when we bring this marketing person in is addressing the system as a whole, but focus on,
Okay.
with the focus in, but not as a whole.
I'll sit tight.
Yeah, and stay on me.
Shelter Creek's easy,
Yeah.
because they're gonna have fiber, and it's gonna sell itself.
It is.
And it's like having the brand new shiny toy. Everybody there is gonna want it, but everybody else in the rest of the city is gonna be like, well, what about us? How long would it take for you to formulate the plan, to map it out, and with the costs? 3 years, so be it, but how long would that take for you to actually come up with the plan? I mean, I'm sure you guys are busy right now, but is it on the shelf? It's like, hey, here it is, give us some money, we're ready to go, or?
Yeah.
I think if we provided the budget for the implementation plan, or the study of that plan, I think that's something that we should be talking about now, and trying to hear let's do it. If we're gonna do it, let's do it. The marketing is another thing, but one idea I would have is someone comes to San Bruno, they generally have to get a new water service. They get 1 month or 2 months free. Automatically, you get it for free, and then the other thing you can do is, word of mouth is the best advertisement. Refer a friend program.
We have that.
You already have it?
We have a refer a friend program.
I didn't hear about it. You know
Yeah.
about that, Rico? You know about it?
Yeah.
Everybody know about that here? I already got cable, but I didn't, but the whole point is, if you refer a friend, what do you get?
$20 off on your bill and $20 off on the referral.
Okay, all right. I'll put it on my Facebook
And
page.
free,
I'm sure
yeah.
Ken will do the same, but, people are
But I
gonna
mean,
know.
there are programs, but you're right, I mean, we can be more aggressive in
Right,
getting that.
and
I agree.
social media is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's free. So if everybody here started doing that, it would get out, or not even $20. Give them a month free. Give them a month free, and for the first time, and then give them. You could buy a movie, right?
Yep,
Give them a movie pass.
we have movie passes.
Give them a movie
Give
pass.
those out too.
And just keep on doing that. All right.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Movie basket.
Give it
Not
away.
everybody-
Because what is the actual cost? We're not, well, we're gonna fix that deficit. Because a new service is gonna generate a lot more than one movie pass or one free month. And we need to increase our revenues. Yeah, well, robocalls, anything, right? No, but anyhow, I seriously, getting you the funding to prepare the plan, or to lay it out. 2 years to do the whole city, that's, I think, a good benchmark, right? We can do it if we find somebody, but we found a good vendor or contractor. We're gonna see how good they are, and if they like working with us.
The only trouble, this contractor only does MGUs.
Okay.
And, I'd love to just start in our overhead, the individual residents here. Contractors are a lot tougher to get right at this moment.
Sure.
Because they're being used all up and down the whole
Right.
Bay Area. But I have looked at it, I know roughly what the cost is going to be. The construction costs may go up a little bit because there's so much competition out there, so everybody's, trying to get the most out of it. But I know what the equipment costs, I know how long it would take. The plan's there. It's just whether we want to, say, okay, we're going to go for it. It's a big dollar, amount there for the whole city.
Thank you. I just want to say,
when I'm on the subcommittee with this, and we've wrestled with this for a long time, and Al and Steve have worked with us, and we've worked, everybody, and there was a time when we even thought of not keeping San Bruno Cable because of all the infrastructure costs that we kept having, kept reoccurring. Every 5 years, it seemed we have to put out another $7 or $8 million, and our customer base is pretty finite, and there was always changes and all those other things. So it was never just a simple yes, let's do it or not. It's there was a lot of factors. So with the Shelter Creek piece, part of our reasoning with doing that one was to see what actual customer increase we get, and I believe we were looking for a 20% increase, and if we get that, we were speculating that would be citywide, and that would pay for the service, because we are talking $8 to $10 million, right?
Yes.
So it's not a small amount, and Jim is on the subcommittee as well, and we've all the things you're talking about, we've talked about and have done some of them, and certainly we'll do some more. One of the other things we can hook up with is the real estate community. Every new person who buys a new house should have some kind of something with San Bruno Cable, and if a welcome basket, free movie, and 2-day hookup or something. There's all those kinds of things. They're pretty, I don't want to say short-staffed, tightly staffed. So, and there's been the deficit, and there's all those other things. So, some of the marketing efforts have been through part-time people, some of it in-house staff. So we have looked at a lot of it, and I know that they will also continue to look at it.
Right. I agree. And the Shelter Creek is a big step. We talk about that a lot too, and what to do and how to invest in it, and what we're going to get out of it. So far, it seems to be grabbing hold, but really look forward to the completion of that and see where it really ends up. So, Jerry.
And we're getting real close to starting it. There's a chance that we could start maybe at the end of next week or the week after. Right. The contractor's supposed to be coming up and issuing all the bonds, and once the lawyers look at it, if everything goes, we can start pretty soon.
Go get it done. Now he's on vacation.
Yeah, that's
You looked at it before.
Yes.
Sign off.
You wrote this service agreement up, so I'm sure it's going to be okay.
Anything else for cable? All right. You're on.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. I know the hour is getting late, so I'll move right along. The dedicated members of the Community Services Department take great pride in fulfilling the vision of the City Council by delivering the programs and services which enrich the lives of the San Bruno community. One need look no further than the success of Sunday's Community Day in the Park to see city staff, all of us, committed and dedicated, including the men and women of the Community Services Department. In the upcoming fiscal year, the Community Services Department will focus on cultivating and growing existing programs and working on initiatives that are still in the planning phase, which once completed will provide new and eagerly anticipated amenities and programs for the community's use and enjoyment. We will continue to grow the enrollment in the after-school programs, which currently serve more than 700 students per month during the school year. The summer camps, which provide fun and enriching programs to more than 2,000 children each year. The summer reading program, which last year served nearly 2,000 children. And special events with the addition of a mother, son, and father-daughter event, or events, I guess I should say. We will also continue to expand our contract class offerings and youth and adult sports programs. I'm also pleased to share with the City Council that we have found a new software platform to replace the existing expensive and not entirely user-friendly registration and reservation system. And we'll be implementing that probably later this year, early winter, and we anticipate cost savings as a result of this migration. Additionally, over the next year, we will strive to further grow the department's relationship with the community through volunteer programs. Each division within the department offers and manages a volunteer program. I'm happy to report that the Adopt a Park program has 8 active teams, and the volunteer program at the Senior Center will expand to offer more recognition events trainings, and seminars to ensure volunteers have important skills and tools to serve the community. Our other focus over the coming fiscal year will be to deliver capital improvement program budget projects, which are currently in the planning phase, many of which we work with routinely with the Public Services Department. Specifically, these projects include the completion of the new restrooms at City Park, completion of the master plans leading to the development and construction of the park on Florida Avenue and the replacement park at Earl Glenview, and the painting of the gymnasium at the Recreation Center. We also look forward to supporting the visioning plan, which I think the city manager will be discussing either later this evening or at the next budget study session. Other priority projects include developing a needs assessment of city facilities, which would be used to create a phased strategy for addressing deficiencies, as well as updating the citywide tree inventory and completing a tree management program, which would take into consideration best practices for the care of our precious urban forest. Our goal for the upcoming fiscal year is to continue to deliver programming excellence and to drive projects to completion that have already been approved by the City Council. Contained in the supplemental budget are 2 staffing requests that we believe are instrumental in accomplishing the delivery of these projects. And I think at some later date, at the next budget study session, there'll be an opportunity to discuss that further. On behalf of the Community Services Department, thank you for your continued support of what we do and deliver for the community.
Anything for Carrie?
You see me. And going on what Carrie said on the 2 position enhancements, to save that for another time, so I will honor that. In the is it parks? Yeah, parks. In the parks, there is some under operation supplies. There was some plumbing, irrigation, construction supplies, etc. And I didn't know if that was a one-time, or because it's new, is that a one-time or is that an ongoing?
I'm not sure, Councilmember Medina, if you're referring to the one-time appropriation that'll go into the 16-17 budget for the fiber for the park play equipment, or
It's in the basement.
I'm sorry, E-156.
is that 6102?
You are absolutely correct.
Okay.
It's where it says plumbing irrigation is, and it was just because it's new, and I know sometimes we have to get certain stuff and buy it, and then it goes away. Same with 6419, other services up above. There's a new $50,000 mitigation of hazardous association with vegetation, wildlife, fires, and open spaces, and I didn't know if that's a one-time or if that's an ongoing.
So they're different, the nature of them is different. The first item that you referred to is just a refinement of the numbers to make them a bit more specific to how the expenditures will be made. The council may recall, as part of last year's process, you approved in total $95,000 for fire mitigation. The initial appropriation was $45,000, and then subsequent to that, an annual $50,000 additional appropriation that's broken out into a 3-year cyclical program as well as a semi-annual and an annual program. So that $50,000 is a base budget adjustment. You'll see that going forward in each subsequent year, and that was new to last year's budget.
And this is just out of curiosity, but in parks it says professional development. There was just one for $500, where before it was 2 at $1,000. So are we missing somebody? Or
We
is
did
there some change?
We did a little bit of a staffing shift. It's MOU driven by the people that are budgeted in that
thought somebody will-
program budget.
I thought we left somebody off unfortunately. So on the senior center, there was something about, I'm sorry, last year under 7041, there was a county services charge of $100,000 that was listed in that division, but is not here now. Now, it may have been,
In the seniors?
yes, that I saw.
I think that's one that was moved, let me see, because it's actually not a general fund I believe the 100,000, and I have to think.
If I may.
Do you know
I
where it's-
believe
yeah.
that That's an accounting treatment for how we're showing the grant from the Nutrition Site Council. It's the $100,000 grant that they provide for the transportation and the nutrition programs. And that was initially shown in this, and I think from an accounting perspective, it was moved elsewhere into the budget.
I'm trying to find which page it's on. So it's under the special revenue funds, under the Area Agency on Aging.
Okay, so it was just moved over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the correct, so it was showing in the general fund, but it wasn't being paid by the general fund, so we wanted to reflect it in the correct fund that it's in. But if you look on their summary, I believe we did say, put a line on their summary saying from other funds, so that we could show that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Under still senior services, now this may be correct. It says professional development, 1,000, which I know it's 500, and it's reimbursement for one mid-manager. So is it $1,000 for the one mid-manager, or is it 500?
That may be a mistake. It's under senior?
Yes, page E161.
Look at Darlene. We may have, it should be two.
Could
We'll
we check that and get
No,
back
no,
to you
I-
about that?
Of
Okay.
course. Some of the things, and I can forward some of it, there was just some spelling out of things, and not just in this area, and some others, and I can do that. Under the library services, I know under the part-time, that's up about $5,400 plus dollars. And I know it says that all average under 30 hours per week. Before, in last year's budget, it said they average between 15 and 19 hours a week. So is it just more flexibility that we're looking for? Because I know, and where's the cutoff when it becomes benefited for the city? Or, I'm sorry, maybe that's as far as the benefits. What goes from part-time with benefits?
So the number of hours, where it goes from part-time to a part-time, according to the Affordable Care Act with benefits, sort of a complicated formula, but it's a look-back method, and if they work over 29 hours a week, that's what happens.
So it's saying up to 30, so obviously, because it's part-time, I'm assuming these are non-benefited positions under 5102, part-time salaries under library services. Is that accurate, or am I, or is it fair?
So it should be non-benefited.
5102, yes, is part-time non-benefit.
So you're saying once it hits the 30th hour?
30, yes.
Okay, that's why it's stating under 30 to maintain that. Okay. That was a question there. One thing I always wonder is just books and materials, and this might have to be a Tim question. It's only like up 5,000, and to me, is it just because it's different methodology in what we're viewing? Because it just seems, as far as it would be more. Basically, there's a $5,000 increase from last year for books and materials, and to me that seems light, that there should be more. For having to, things you're looking for new, you're looking to replenish, I understand all of that. So is that adequate? I guess is my question.
I guess so. I'm going over library.
So, over time, it used to be that we would buy a lot of reference materials that could not be checked out. And those materials were quite expensive. Over time, a lot of that information has transferred to the internet and become more readily available. Instead of putting resources into those types of materials, we've transferred that more to lesser expensive materials, more just regular books that people can check out and take home with them.
Okay, so you're being mindful and.
Yes, yes. But that budget we have found that to be adequate.
Okay. Just would assume, but because it never goes up much, and so I'm always kind of impressed how it maintains that. That this division is one, and I can go back to a long time from former directors you've worked for, that they've always towed the line in that division.
Well, and I think what you'll see over time is increases that we ask for, even though they are modest, they'll be put toward ebooks, which are becoming more and more popular.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Under building and facilities, there's a contractual service, emergency repairs to facilities, equipment, and fixtures, which is $52,100, which is the same request as last year. And I guess I'm trying to understand, with the, shall we say, I'll use a better line, the matureness of our facilities. That seemed
No, that's old.
it seemed
Old and decrepit.
It seemed light, but I don't know how much was actually used last year, because it doesn't really quantify. And I guess it just means if the heater goes out or the air conditioner goes out. Is that what we're referencing here?
Essentially correct.
We can get the information about how much was spent last year.
And under building and grounds maintenance, that's on G22. Unless I was incorrect, it looked like 3601 that all the same verbiage and costs were exactly identical. So I'm just wondering, is that, I guess some years are better than others, and I guess we're just towing the line. Sometimes when I see that not a word has changed and not a dollar has changed, I wonder the comparativeness from this time to last time, and if it's completely accurate. And I think that's it for right now.
To that point, Councilmember Medina, you'll notice that one of our goals and objectives, and for the council just in general, one of our goals and objectives for 16-17 is to conduct an operational needs assessment of existing city facilities and develop a phased strategy for addressing deficiencies. We did precisely what you suggested, which was we towed the line for 16-17 because before we come forward asking for more money, we want to really have a well thought out, methodologically driven reason for any additional requests that we're asking.
Okay. Anyone else for Carrie?
Well, I don't have a question, I have comments, so go ahead.
I have a request, how about that? Where's that falling?
We'll see what it is.
Go ahead.
So, our fountain downtown, we're in a drought, I understand that, the water's not flowing. But having that turn into a little mini tot lot, is something that I really want to see. So can you put that in? No. The plan, how will we do that? 'Cause I'm seeing the goals and objectives are, we're doing Glenview Park, we're doing Florida Park, to get someone to examine that area. Because I guarantee you, if we had that little park there, more people are gonna come downtown. Because we already have the swim center there. It's a kid-oriented downtown, it really is. And haircuts and Chinese food, but if we had some place where you can bring your kid down, sit down, have a sandwich, and watch your children play. Across the street in Burlingame, there's a pizza joint, and there's a little tiny tot lot, if you've ever been over there.
Pizza Man.
Pizza My Heart. That thing's always being used. And we can find a way to move a couple things around. I love the art along the side, but put in a little 35 by 45, which is almost like the same little ones we have at City Park for the little kids. Doing something like that isn't going to break the bank. So I'd like to see us move in the direction of bringing a park downtown that's going to be welcoming to our community. Right now it's fenced off. It's got gorilla hair all over the place, right? And it's just kind of, it's time to do something. Let's bring a park downtown.
So there's, we can certainly put together a cost estimate. This has been long on the city's radar screen, and it has a interesting and kind of convoluted history. There's more than meets the eye in terms of work that would need to be accomplished there, but if it is the council's interest, we can certainly put together basic information that would allow you to make a decision about how you wanted to proceed and what it would cost.
Thank you.
Irene?
I want to make a comment about all your goals in all of your departments, all on the parks, the seniors, libraries. It impressed me how much the goals reflect what I have heard out in the community. So, for example, with the library, one of the goals is offering individual computer instruction. I've heard over and over again, oh, I can't remember how to do this, oh, I don't know how to do this, oh, and I go to the library and they help me, and I think that's fabulous that you are responding to some of the needs of the communities. The same with the senior centers, that you're doing things that I've heard seniors say, oh, we wish we had more of, or you know, we want to do this and we don't have any place to do it, but we will at the senior center. So I really am impressed by this, as with all the departments, but these services hit the residents probably more often than fire and police, and people respond. And I think how you are responding back with your new goals is great. So I just want to make sure that comment was out there. And I don't think that's on, so I don't know why I was talking on it. Oh, it was. Okay, good.
I'm sorry, was I watching the game when we were talking about the Parks and Facility Services Manager?
Carrie,
No, she punted
Carrie
on
asked.
that, but I would
No,
ask
she
her.
didn't punt. She just said at the next time we can bring up the job.
No, we're going
aspects.
to talk about it right now,
Yeah.
because I want to know.
It's your meeting.
Yeah. I mean, I read through it, and I understand, you know, between building facilities, you know, community services and public service. Proactively address parks and facilities needs, and then, just like you said, on the goals, conduct an operational needs assessment of existing city facilities and develop a phased strategy for addressing deficiencies. Okay, so this community's 100 years old now. A lot of our facilities are about 60 years old, and they are maintained, they're clean, but it just seems that it takes one or two council terms before we can actually do something. I know we've been sitting here talking about how we might improve the pool building until we get a new pool building. I know there has been talk about what we might be able to do in the rec center plaza. Is that going to be a 2020 capital improvement project? I don't want this to get into hire a guy, he makes a big list and everything, it goes through different committees or whatever, and all of a sudden, 3 or 4 years down the road, it's on the capital improvement, you know, and we're talking about funding it, and it'll be 2021 that it'll be a funded project. We need to do little things now. We've been looking at new bathrooms in the city park. We've been looking at that. It's been on the books now. And I realize that it's planned for and stuff, and so it better happen this year. So I'm just thinking, there needs to be some little things. Hopefully this guy that comes in will say, you know, this is whether it's a safety hazard or it's an improvement, I mean, it can probably cost maybe $10,000. Let's do it. Let's get it done. And so that this city is, and I have nothing but great things to say about the recreation programs, staff, all that's, you know, cleaning the parks and the streets. But what have we done? We did playgrounds, and we moved a fence at the swimming pool. And we just took how long to build a new tennis wall? So we really, I mean, the public uses that. I see it every single day. I'm in that park almost 4 or 5 times a week. And it's being used so much, and even if barbecues are changed, new trash receptacles, whatever. And it doesn't have to be a major, you know, rolling out project. Little by little. We saw 2 nice trash receptacles at the Posey Park. I mean, those are nice. I know they're going to be real expensive if we did the whole city, but strategically placed, a couple of them. I mean, we've done some in City Park. I know that they've done those green ones, and you notice that. We need to do little things like that. So I'm hoping that this new facility service manager will look at even the little things.
So may I say thank you? You did a better job of making the point than I could have. A much more brilliant job. What we need isn't somebody who's looking at future planning. We need somebody who is day-to-day nuts and bolts operational. We have very talented field supervisors in the two staff, one that's responsible for parks and one that's responsible for facilities. They should be out in the field more, assisting, supervising, guiding, maintaining quality control with the folks that are in the field, supporting those folks. What we have right now is a bit of a hybrid where they're trying to take on the more proactive management responsibilities that you just articulated and still trying to handle their day-to-day activities as a supervisor. I know that we all have some concern when we hear management position and, what the heck is that person really going to do? But in this particular case, this will be a very operational, very day-to-day, very involved, direct, present position that is also responsible for looking from a futuristic perspective at what needs to be done, but boots on the ground to deliver things that need to occur.
Didn't we have a guy like that? He went to Skyline College? Wasn't somebody that was taking care of facilities here? And then he moved.
We did a long
And
time
then he
ago.
moved on
and
and take care of facilities up at Skyline College. Yeah, he knew every inch of this.
Skyline College is very pretty.
So, through the chair,
Yeah.
since now we are talking about the topic, I was gonna wait, or we still can. I can hold my comments till the next time on the position. So, on my perspective, I see it a little differently. It's not because of the title. I worked there when we had that title. So I get it, I know it, I've seen it, I've seen a few people have it. What I do get concerned about, which I've always brought up, is that, as it states here, we want to expand the medium planting maintenance program. We want to expand this. Okay, in parks. So in my day, you had maintenance workers. Then you had maintenance workers 1 and 2. Then you had a manager. Then you had, I think there's even now there's 2 that are maybe more technical. I don't forget the title. Then there became field supervisors with a manager. Well, the concern is that we're talking about bringing back, obviously, which we will, Glenview and Crestmore Park. We're obviously talking about Florida Park. We're talking about increasing the medium strips. But if we want to go back to my day, or back in time, how many maintenance workers did we have actually in the field making the difference and keeping the city of what people expect? It wasn't a manager in the office that made it happen. They may oversee it, but they weren't making it happen in the trenches. So we can always talk about these good ideas, getting it on paper, and who's going to implement them. I would say, and I have my past budgets in the next room, so I'll go and look after the meeting, is how many maintenance workers did we have back then before we started having to reduce positions? So to me, in my world, before I can sign off on this position, I need to know that we can actually provide the services that we have, which today I say we can't. I need to know that a manager can go out and assess and do park inspections and bring up a punch list, but who's going to do it? The 2 new parks. I don't see it in here, how the time is going to be allocated differently. I don't see in here the medium strips, how that time is going to be allocated. You have the same people doing the same, now with more. So how do you get it done? To me, the manager is not the answer until I can hear and feel confident on the other end that we can handle what we have, increase what we choose, and we have that taken care of first.
As the next median segment comes online for San Bruno Avenue, Florida Park comes online, and Earl Glenview comes online, which will be in fiscal 17-18. I'm going to request that we restore the 3rd parks crew. Right now, we have 2 fully staffed parks crews and 2 of the 3 positions that are needed for the 3rd parks crew. On a seasonal basis, I pull off a member of the utility crew, the facilities crew, to fully staff that 3rd parks crew. That has a consequence on the utility and on the facilities crew, but it addresses the parks crew. As soon as those 3 new park amenities come online, we're no longer going to be able to do that. We're going to need to restore that third crew to full staffing. So in 17-18, I'll be requesting a lead parks maintenance worker that will round out that third crew. In the meantime, and strategically I put it in the budget very deliberately, I want to know what we need on the facility side, particularly as we anticipate bringing on additional new facilities, and potentially that staffing plan, and I can't speak to it now because we haven't done the analysis, but potentially that staffing plan will request additional facility staff. We have this sort of question between what makes sense to contract out and what makes sense to staff on a staffing level. So I very much hear the council members' comment about staffing boots on the ground, and we will be coming forward. I will be coming forward. Much like I said last year, I'll be requesting the Parks and Facilities Manager position again. Next year, I will be requesting a lead maintenance or a lead parks worker. Because you're right, we will need additional staffing. Much like you approved a parks position last year in the budget when all of the grade separation activity came to the city.
Okay. Anything else?
One very short question. Who cleans up downtown?
A team of people.
Okay, and that's run by you, or is that?
It's run by Jimmy's department,
Okay.
the Public Services Department, and by the Community Services Department. It just depends where in the downtown and what the task is.
Okay, so that we don't have no cleanup on the weekends?
Pick up cleanup of what?
So
Trash, debris?
we maintain Posey Park
No,
seven days
downtown.
7 days a week. We
There's no cleaning, no specific cleaning on
Yeah.
72 Avenue.
On the weekends, the trash is blowing around. It just looks bad. You know, by 3 o'clock when the winds pick up, it's just swirling around. So if we could look into having somebody go through downtown, 'cause I've helped
I'm sorry.
a couple weekends.
Like a business owner?
No, you have to staff to go down there. Staff to go down on the weekends, parking lots, downtown area. It's a couple hours, I don't know what else, how were you allocated, but it's needed. That's it.
That,
ahead,
well,
Irene.
I wanna say it is a multi-level problem that you can go through that downtown and clean it, you know, spend 10 hours cleaning it and turn around and go back at the other end and clean it all over again. I've watched people walk by and throw trash on the ground right next to a to a garbage can. I've seen people, I have walked and picked up, I have walked and picked up cigarette butts and have a shop owner stand outside smoking, watching me pick up cigarette butts, and then as soon as he goes, oh, and then he throws his cigarette butt on the floor. So I understand very personally what you're talking about, but I don't know that having a staff person go for a couple hours on the weekend is going to make that much difference. Not saying it, I'm just saying, we on the Beautification Task Force have tried, are working with Recology's education person, and she is starting a heavy, intense anti-litter campaign in the schools, in all levels of the schools, in all the schools in San Bruno, which, as you know, if you get the kids to do it, the parents do it, and you know it's a long-term program, and you're not going to see results right away, but hopefully that's going to be part of the culture of San Bruno sooner than later. But anyway, yes, and if anyone wants to join us, last Sunday of the month, we go out and clean for a couple hours.
Really?
Last Sunday's
San
great.
Mateo, you didn't know
Every
that?
weekend
I didn't know that.
would be better.
Yes. Well.
Right? It'd be less
Last
pickup.
Sunday of the month. and
Last Sunday of the month, 10 o'clock,
10 o'clock, and you're out there for about how long?
about an
Couple
hour and a half.
Good, okay.
It's 9:15. Maybe we should.
Would it be okay if I made some short comments about one topic on this, and then I would like to propose that we have a very short agenda scheduled for June 14th. And with the last director's comments on infrastructure, which are actually probably 15 or 20 minutes long, if we could reserve an hour after the regular city council meeting, we should have, or a little bit more than that, we should have plenty of time both to use time you've already scheduled and maybe finish up on Tuesday night. But I think we could be very efficient. If you would give me just 2 minutes right now to address
ahead.
one more topic.
Yes, and
You're
so
on.
I would like also to address some special revenue funds in addition to Mr. Tan and the CIP.
So if you can let
Next
us
Tuesday.
know what those are, we can talk about that.
That's in the budget. Yes, yes.
Okay, so the last topic that I wanted to address tonight is the partnership with the Community Foundation, which is a terrific opportunity for the community's future. And as the council is well aware, we have the opportunity of partnering and are in process with partnering with the Community Foundation on 4 specific projects, with one of those projects being the development of a vision plan for future community facility development. I wanted to call out to the council's attention what that means for this year's budget. Certainly, I think you understand, because we've discussed it a few times, what the work program implications are, but this budget includes also the commitment of city resources to supplement and partner with the resources that the Community Foundation has identified in order to fully pursue the projects that the foundation brought to you last January. Specifically, and the director will be talking further about capital and infrastructure at our next meeting, but there is $170,000 that is shown in our capital improvement program for the pedestrian improvement component of the work that the Community Foundation has proposed to us. No additional city funds have been included in the budget for the completion of that project. $30,000 for the Community Day in the Park program on an annual basis. We had a spectacular event on this past Sunday and look forward with the foundation support to continuing that program. And we'll be working with the Lions Club to debrief and to look into how we want to move that project forward, that collaboration forward into future years. City Council has identified, and for several years now, we've been working towards the vision of a new city park, first one in at least a couple of decades, at 324 Florida. The city has already invested just over $1 million for purchase and has now committed the funds necessary as part of that $1 million to demolish the existing structures. In addition, this budget includes an additional $200,000 of funding in the CIP to supplement, an additional $425,000 to supplement the $200,000 that the Community Foundation has pledged to the development of a park. That project is in the planning stage, and we look forward to your consideration of the budget and moving forward to actual construction of that park, hopefully beginning in the first quarter of 2017. And then lastly, the Community Foundation has proposed a community vision plan. We've done some initial work that's been funded, that is pledged for funding by the Community Foundation. And I just wanted to call to your attention that this is again an item for which the foundation has identified a financial partnership with the city, where they have pledged $275,000 for the completion of the vision plan. And although we do not yet have final estimated cost numbers, we have included $125,000 in the enhancement requests as a number that would allow us to reliably have the adequate resources to complete that program and that project. So again, positioning the community for the future, addressing immediate and broad-based challenges, We think this budget, it represents a reasonable, practical, affordable work program, and we look forward to discussing it further with you, hopefully on Tuesday night. And any questions, comments, or other thoughts that council members may have, we'd be happy to receive those and prepare to include those in any additional comments on Tuesday night after the regular city council meeting.
So sorry, thank you. So anything that we, in regards to the city attorney or electeds, that you're saying you wish me to email you with the questions?
Absolutely, you're welcome to do that.
Well, I'm asking,
Yeah, we're not intending to provide any specific presentation on those items as part of the study session
so I
materials that we
should bring it
presented.
up Tuesday, you're saying you need to have it prior to the meeting?
No, you're welcome to
Oh,
bring it
okay.
up then
I
as
just wanted
well.
to
Either
see
way.
the process.
Yeah, either way.
Okay, anything else?
Thank you.
I just want to
So,
thank,
if I could, yeah.
I had one more.
go ahead.
I'm not gonna be here Tuesday night, nor am I gonna be here any other night. I like this format, and I like the way this whole collaboration of city staff and everything, because I was putting it together, you know, and like you said in the beginning, we're all intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, as much as that's a good thing within City Hall and out in the field and everything, I distinctly remember there being a brief discussion about how we're going to embrace this whole new group of business types that are coming to San Bruno. How we have this business called YouTube, Google, and how we're going to truly partner with them. And, you know, it's always bandied about amongst school groups, amongst organizations, you know, even amongst us. When are we really going to say that we can partner, that we can really get something done together? And who's going to take initiative on that? And is it someone waiting for someone else to move? Is it maybe not time to do it yet, or what? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen people come, I've seen people go. We've got new players now, and before you know it, we'll be starting over. But I think we're missing an opportunity to really do something, with some of these named businesses that, our residents feel that we should be, tapping them left and right. So, we have some really good smaller companies, traditional companies, like, and I'll say them right now, the Welsh family has gone leaps and bounds in how they're wanting to engage San Bruno. And, it's great. But I just think that we need to do more in trying to embrace these companies. And I know it's not easy, because our colleagues down the peninsula have struggled, and they have nothing but bad things to say about, some of these named companies. But I think we need to take a stronger stab at it. So with that, I'm going to bow back. Warriors will go to at least Game 5.
Through the chair, with the city manager's permission, I'd like to ask the finance director if she could introduce those, and if they could stand. That put a lot of effort, time into this budget, worked many hours, and came up with this new format in putting the CIP and the general fund budget together. And I think that they deserve at least that acknowledgement from us and an appreciation.
That I would happily do, so I'll have my staff stand up. We have Darlene that's in the back. She's our accounting services manager.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Last names too.
Thank you, Darlene.
Darlene Wong. And then Helen Scott, Scott. And then she is our financial services manager. And then we have our new accountant, Charlene. And I always say your
Young
last
and
name
eager.
right. Yeah. I say your last name wrong.
Yeah.
How do you say your last name?
Enthusiastic.
Lee? Okay. And so, yeah, they've done a great job. You saw that they put the whole document together. Without them, I couldn't have done any of this. So, yeah, it's great. Yay!
Thank you and welcome, but I did want to, I know we have a council meeting Tuesday, we're not done, but honestly, I know it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and new formats and changes
Right.
take extra time the first time around. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
for-
if-
Also, before we leave, to the city manager and the entire staff, as well as everybody that's out in the field, it doesn't get said enough, but we really appreciate what you're doing. You are the people that make this place work, and thank you very, very much. This is really exciting. We bit the bullet a number of years ago, and a lot of other cities now are in a bind because they didn't do it. And we did what we had to do, and we have, although it's small, we have a little surplus. We're able to do a lot of new and exciting things in San Bruno going forward, and a lot of it's because of you. So we really appreciate your efforts. I just want to say that again. Thank you.